What if I told you the entire science of personal finance was already solved in 380 BC? Not by Warren Buffett, not by some Stanford MBA, by a man who owned almost nothing, but he made emperors. Plato identified 4 virtues he called the cardinal pillars of a well-lived life: prudence, justice, fortitude, temperance. Fast forward 2,400 years, I mapped every single personal finance principle ever written against these 4 virtues. Every single one fit perfectly. Budgeting, temperance. Investing wisely, prudence. Paying yourself first, even when it's hard, fortitude. Sharing wealth, tithing, giving, justice. The richest people on earth aren't following TikTok finance hacks. They are, unknowingly, practicing Stoic virtue. This series will show you how. 7 parts, 4 virtues, 1 complete financial life. Let's begin.
The virtue of seeing clearly. Prudence. The Greeks called it phronesis, practical wisdom. The ability to see reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. In money, prudence is the rarest virtue of all, because money is emotional. It triggers fear, pride, shame, and fantasy, all enemies of clear sight. A prudent person does 3 things. First, they track. They know exactly what comes in and exactly what goes out. No guessing, no approximately. Numbers don't lie, but they do hide when you refuse to look. Second, they project. They ask not just what do I have, but where is this path leading in 5 years, in 20? Third, they question assumptions. The prudent investor asks, what if I'm wrong? That question alone has saved more fortunes than any hot stock tip. Prudence is not caution, it is clarity. The courage to see your finances with open eyes. Most people fail here first, not because they lack money, because they lack the will to look.
The virtue the consumer economy was built to destroy. Temperance, sophrosine in Greek, self-mastery, the disciplined channeling of desire. Here is a fact that should disturb you. The entire $4 trillion advertising industry exists for one purpose: to dismantle your temperance. Every notification, every flash sale, every limited time offer, these are precision-engineered attacks on this single virtue. Temperance in personal finance is not deprivation. The Stoics were clear. Temperance doesn't mean you never spend. It means you decide. Not the algorithm, not the influencer, not the dopamine spike. The rule is simple. Desire is infinite. Resources are finite. The gap between them is your life's financial story. The temperate person builds the pause. Between wanting and buying, they insert a question. Is this aligned with who I am building myself to be? 1 second of temperance, practiced daily, compounds over decades into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not metaphorically, literally. The math is brutal. Temperance is the unglamorous virtue. It has no ticker symbol, but it is the foundation everything else is built on.
The virtue that survives the crash. In 2008, the market drops 57%. Trillions vanish. And millions of ordinary investors do the one thing that guaranteed they would never recover. They sold. That is the opposite of fortitude. Fortitude, Andrea, courage, is the financial virtue no one teaches, because it cannot be packaged or sold. It is the capacity to hold your position when everything in your body is screaming to run. But fortitude in money is not just about crashes. It is the courage to start investing when you feel you have nothing. The courage to say no to your family's financial pressure. The courage to live beneath your means when everyone around you performs wealth they don't have. It is the courage to be boring, consistent, unsexy. The greatest fortitude story in modern finance? Someone who invested $100 a month from age 22, never sold, never panicked, and by 65 had over $1.4 million. No secret strategy. Just one virtue, practiced weekly for 43 years. Fortitude doesn't predict the market. It doesn't need to. It simply refuses to quit.
The virtue that makes you wealthy twice. Justice, dikaiosune. In Plato's framework, it is not just fairness to others. It is the right ordering of the self, giving each part of life its proper due. In money, justice operates on two levels. Outward justice, paying your debts, honoring agreements, not extracting from others what you wouldn't accept extracted from you. The investor who refuses predatory instruments, the employer who pays fair wages. These are not just ethics, they are financial sustainability. Exploitative systems eventually collapse. Relationships built on justice compound. But inward justice is the more profound insight. It means giving your future self what they are owed. Every time you save, you are paying a debt forward. Your 65-year-old self is a real person. They are owed the fruit of your discipline today. And here is the part that breaks most financial models. The research on giving is unambiguous. People who give consistently, tithe, donate, invest in community, report higher financial satisfaction and, statistically, higher net worth growth over time. Justice is not the sacrifice of wealth. Justice is its source.
How the four virtues work as one system. Here is what every financial self-help book misses. The four virtues are not a menu. You don't pick your favorite. They are a system. Each one depends on and amplifies the others. Without prudence, temperance has no map. You're disciplined, but toward what? You don't know where you stand. Without temperance, prudence becomes paralysis. You see clearly, but you cannot act, because desire overrides reason. Without fortitude, the first market crash, the first month of sacrifice, the first moment of real difficulty, you abandon both. And without justice, the right ordering, the giving, the future self-debt, the entire system serves only the small, frightened ego. And the small, frightened ego always, eventually, self-destructs. The ancient wealthy, not the corrupt nobles, but the genuinely prosperous philosophers, merchants, landowners, understood this as a unity. They didn't call it a financial plan, they called it character. Your financial situation is not a math problem, it is a character problem. Solve the character, the math follows. The one question that changes everything, everyone, is actually a question about identity, not about money. The budget question is not, can I afford this? The real question is this who I am? The investment question is not, will this go up? The real question is, am I someone who builds patiently or someone who chases? The giving question is not, how much can I spare? The real question is, do I believe in abundance or in scarcity? Plato called the virtues a mirror. Hold them up. Look at your financial life. What you see reflected is not your bank balance. It is your character at its current stage of development. The four virtues are not a destination. They are a direction. And in personal finance, as in life, direction, sustained long enough, becomes destiny. Start with one virtue, just one. Practice it this week. Let it lead you to the next. This is the oldest financial advice on earth, and it still works because humans haven't changed. The money always follows the person.